Hello gamers, welcome back to the channel. 2023 is now officially over and 2024 is now looking upon us with all the great games that are going to be coming this coming year. But I want to take this time to take a look back to 2023 and give you my list of my personal top 10 games of 2023. But before we jump into it, please do me a favor, smash that thumbs up and subscribe for all future content here on the channel. Really quick, before we get to the first game on the list, I just want to throw out a disclaimer that these are my personal favorite games of 2023. So everybody's going to have a different list. Your list might be completely different than mine. But you know what? I want to know what games are on your list. So leave your list in the comment box below. So with that said, let's jump in to number 10. Coming in at number 10 is Super Mario RPG. This is a game that I grew up playing on the Super Nintendo, and I was so happy when Nintendo announced that they were doing a full-on remake on the Nintendo Switch. They took everything from the original game and they just modernized it. It's still the same gameplay. They redid some of the music. The graphics have all been upgraded, and it's just a solid game. Super Mario RPG was the first RPG game I ever played. It's the game that kind of got me addicted to the Final Fantasy franchise. So I just have a very deep love for this game in my heart, and that's why Super Mario RPG comes in at number 10. Coming in at number 9 was a big surprise for a lot of us, and that is Tango Gameworks Hi-Fi Rush. It was a stealth drop, came to Xbox Game Pass, and I love this game. I love everything from the aesthetic of the game. I'm not much of a rhythm game fan, but I love the gameplay because it doesn't punish you for not being able to keep up with the rhythm. The story is really good, and I really hope that Xbox continues this trend and we get more games like Hi-Fi Rush, because it was definitely a massive surprise of the year. Coming in at number 8 is Street Fighter 6. I really enjoyed this game. I'm not the biggest Street Fighter fan in the world, but out of all the fighting games that came out this year, Street Fighter 6 was the one that kind of stuck with me the most. I like the idea of being able to build your avatar and go through Metro City. Not only that, but it has everything that we've come to love about the Street Fighter franchise, and the gameplay is just fantastic. They have new control systems for those that are newcomers to the franchise, yet they still have the option to switch back to the classic controllers for all the old school fans out there. It was just a fantastic game, a surprise to me, and I enjoyed playing it. Coming in at number 7 is Final Fantasy 16. I gotta be honest with you, I was a little disappointed with this game. The gameplay was fine. The hack and slash nature of the game was fine. I thought the story was great. I thought the graphics, the story, the character designs, the voice acting, all that was great. To me, it just felt like something was missing in this game. It didn't really feel like Final Fantasy. It felt more like a Final Fantasy spin-off. And I have it at number 7 because I still think it's a pretty good game. Although I was disappointed with it, I just kind of moved it down my list as more games came out throughout the year. Final Fantasy 16 is a good game, but it's still one that I was slightly disappointed in. And maybe I'll go back and replay it again with some of the new DLC and some of the new updates that they have added. Coming in at number 6 is Starfield. I think this game gets a lot more hate than it actually deserves. I liked it so much. I was so overwhelmed when I first played this game because the world is so big and you can do so many different things. But then when I just spent more time with it and was able to kind of just focus on the story itself, I really got invested into the story. Yes, the first few hours of the game is pretty slow, but once you start to pick up on what the plot of the game actually is, I was just like, holy crap, man, I have to see this thing to the end. And I really enjoyed this game. Is it the best game of the year? No, that's why it's coming in at number 6. It's coming in at that midway point of my top 10. And I think a lot of people that are hating on the game are people that didn't even play the game. So Starfield might not be the best, but it is a game that I thoroughly enjoyed. Coming in at number 5 is Star Ocean Second Story Remake. I loved this game so much. I took this game with me on my honeymoon earlier this year, and on my downtime, I was able to just level up and progress in the story on my Nintendo Switch, and I had so much fun with these two characters and just kind of figuring out what was going on in this world. Where something like Final Fantasy 16 let me down, I went into Star Ocean Second Story with not very high expectations. I just fell in love with the game. Everything from the music to the gameplay to the fighting mechanics to the story and plot that was going on. And I really enjoyed the way the game visually looked. It wasn't 2D HD, but it was something that was very, very similar, taking the game and put it in it like a 2D, 3D type world. I just thought overall, it was a phenomenal game, and I enjoyed playing it from start to finish, and it's one of my highly recommended games of the year. Coming in at number 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This was one of the games I was most hyped for throughout the year. Unfortunately, it was plagued with bad performance issues from the start. I played it on PlayStation 5 day one, and the frame rate was all over the place. Even in performance mode, the frame rate was just god awful. So it doesn't matter if you're an Xbox fan or a PlayStation fan, it was horrible on both. But the story and the gameplay was awesome. They took the story from Jedi Fallen Order and they were able to progress the story with these characters, and it meant something. Sometimes the story was a little predictable, but you play these games for the gameplay, and it was great to be able to see this crew and this group once again and see how they kind of interact with each other after so many years has passed since the first game. Even though the performance on launch wasn't the best, I was still able to overlook that because I enjoyed the characters and the gameplay so much. Coming in at number 3 is Metroid Prime Remastered. A lot of people would not put this on their list because it's a remastered. It's not a new game. It's not a remake. It's just a remastered. But you know what? It's my personal list, and I don't care because I loved this game. I think this is hands down one of the best games that came out this year. Is taking that classic Metroid Prime and remastering it for a more modern audience with modern graphics, modern controls on the Nintendo Switch. It is one of the best looking Nintendo Switch games, and this game was fantastic. Metroid Prime Remastered, it just was awesome. It was great being back in that world, and I just cannot wait to see what they're going to do with Metroid Prime 4. Metroid Prime Remastered is a phenomenal game. Doesn't matter if it was remastered or not. That's why it's coming in so high up on my list. Coming in at number 2 is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a game that I was highly looking forward to for years because I was a big fan of Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild ended up becoming my favorite Zelda game of all time. It dethroned Zelda Link to the Past. I really enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom. I think it took the Breath of the Wild mechanics and expanded upon that, and they did more, rich story development with the characters of Zelda and Link and what's going on in Hyrule with Ganon. The game is phenomenal. I wasn't the biggest fan of all the creative mechanics, but I can see where a lot of younger kids would really enjoy being able to just kind of create whatever you want. Luckily for me, though, it didn't really rely on me having to complete through the entire game. I had so much fun with this game. I thought the voice acting was phenomenal. I thought the cutscenes and the graphics were all phenomenal. And of course, the gameplay, much like Breath of the Wild, was fantastic. I'm still not a big fan of my sword breaking all the time. Whether I can fuse things or not, I'm still not a fan of that. But I cannot deny that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a phenomenal game. And coming in at number 1 for me is Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I love the first game. I love the Miles Morales game. Spider-Man 2 takes what those two games did and they amplify it to a whole nother level. If you are a fan of Spider-Man, if you are a fan of Venom, this is the game for you. There's so many improvements that they did from the first two games and they expand upon it. The city is bigger, the graphics are better, the gameplay is quicker. Everything that you loved about the first game is expanded in this game. So there's not really anything new that wasn't already there. A few little mechanics here and there, but the story is what gets you. The story is what drives you forward in this game. And I just had so much fun playing Spider-Man 2. And I was just like, you know what? This has to be my game of the year because it's the only game that I played that kind of left me speechless during most of the scenes in this game. Just the boss battles were epic. Everything that like you want in a game, this game had, and Spider-Man 2 comes in at number 1. I want to thank everybody for sticking around and watching my top 10 list. Not every game made my list, but there's good reason for that, guys. I didn't get the chance to play a lot of games. Diablo, Baldur's Gate, Hogwarts Legacy. I wasn't able to play those games. Games are massively expensive now, and I don't have $60 to buy all these games all the time. I really hope going into 2024 that I can experience Baldur's Gate 3, Hogwarts Legacy, and Diablo 4. There are a lot of games coming out and a lot of games from last year that I did not get a chance to play. So hopefully as we're moving into 2024, I can go back and experience some of those games. But be sure to check out this channel, subscribe, because once I play those games, the reviews will be hitting online. So please make sure you smash that like and subscribe button and stay up to date on all upcoming videos and reviews on the channel. So with that, until next time, I am Robert Storms, and thank you so much for watching.